Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of A.T.O.M RPG. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're supposed to join me today here in the Dead City. We are in the Stalker camp, I believe it is. Ah, it's just you again. What did you want now? Some trade maybe? Or lend me a hand with the Misha situation? Yeah, I know I'm hoping for a miracle. Want discounts? No fair, no deal, no discounts. Why are you so nervous, comrade? The man looks at you with surprise and later goes all pale, as if he had remembered something terrible. It happened a few days ago. I thought I'd go drink some vodka with the guys, but as I approached the harbor, a bullet whistled past my head, and then another one. I ducked and reached cover. That's when I took out my binoculars and saw that it was Misha Altaiski, who was shooting at me with his Vintores. He was shooting, screaming and flailing around like a crazy man. Why would he do that? Why? We drank last month. We were real friendly, too. What did I do to that bastard? Why did he want to kill me? And who's going to be the next to betray me? Brother, pal, buddy, friend, amigo, please find out why he did what he did, I beg of you. He didn't say it in Russian, though. Please say it in Russian. I don't know how to say friend in Russian. I beg of you, the fact that I don't know cuts me like a knife. I'll even pay you. Well, when a friend fires upon a friend, for the reason must be quite good. Although, what? Well, I'm not, yeah, I suppose. I'll check it out for you, but for now, how about we switch topics? Well, the mission has been added. So, about that, no, I need to ask you some questions. The trader winks a few times and nods. He's blinking a few times, although winking also can work. You can ask your questions, he says, winking at me, I suppose. It's just that I see everyone as an enemy nowadays, except for you, because he's blinking at me. Anyway, what's your name? I'm Dubravin the Merchant. Oh god, I feel that soon someone will have to strike that name on a rock that will cover my grave. Why would you think that? Okay, that's just, yeah. So, what are you doing here? What? You can see my backpack? Yeah, I tried to steal from it. I'm a merchant. Well, trying to be one when I'm calm enough, but nowadays I'm so anxious I can barely do any trade. Tell me about this place. What's there to tell? It's the Dead City. A graveyard of tech and radioactive waste, a nest of terrible creatures. But back in the day, friends I had around here were true, at least. The friends I had around here were true. Now, even that's gone. Care to share some rumors? They say that somewhere in the city there's a buried computer, a copy of Lenin's brain made with all sorts of pre-war tech. It's allegedly called Vilenai. Violent AI? It's all capitalized. When its proud... That's the wrong gits. When its proud creators finally turned it on, it told them how to find a peaceful solution to the war. But before the Postal Service managed to deliver those instructions to the Kremlin, I assume, the bombs were already launched. That sounds pretty silly. That does sound pretty silly. Okay, well. Also, there's a peaceful solution to the war. Not launch the bombs? That's a very good... You don't need an AI to tell you that. Don't launch the bombs! I guess that we don't know who launched them first. So, yeah. Oh, I didn't talk to these people. Oh, this is the way into the metro. Please tell me there's no metro. Don't make this Fallout 3. Please don't. Please don't. Just don't. There's already plenty of plastic skeletons. You don't need more Fallout 3 in your Atom. Please don't. Hefty bearded fellow is silently drinking black coffee from an old tin can and smoking a cigarette. Excuse me. He slowly turns to regard you and smiles as you approach, but it's clear his mind is someplace else. And he's got bullets and he's got money, which is surprising. Does he like me? He doesn't like me a little bit, but I'll get his money out of him because I need it. I'll give you a biscuit. I'll give you a junk, maybe. I don't know. Do I really want to give anything to him? I do. But is it worth it? I mean, maybe. Should I? Probably not. Ooh, look at that. F1 grenades are cheap. Yeah, you take one of those. Those suck. Gimme. Okay, good. I could give that. I could get that, but I don't. Okay. Let's see what he says.
Hey there. Welcome to hell.
Hey. What you thinking about, big guy?
Well, suppose you were stalking around the Dead City and, God forbid, you lost a leg. Suppose a monster tore it off, for instance. Whose fault is that? Yours? The monster's? Or is it no one's Or is it that no one is at fault?
Well... What do you mean, fault? Can I clarify on that? I'm to blame, the monster's to blame, nobody's to blame. Nobody's to blame. Shit just happens. It doesn't. That's the wrong... I'm just gonna go with that. My character is not very smart. He does have... Does he have a lot of intelligence? I don't remember. The stalker takes a long drag of his cigarette, exhales a thick cloud of smoke, and spits on the ground, which means that he hates me? Or maybe I just passed the initiation test. I don't know.
Well, that's not news to me. To be clear, I think the world is fair at its core. Nothing bad happens without a reason, but because you messed up somehow. The world's attitude towards you is fair in its neutrality, and every event, good or bad, is a product of your actions.
Or somebody else's actions, I should point out, which makes your logic completely wrong. Well, if you're alone, I guess, yeah. If you're playing Dark Souls, you're alone. You're not going to be invaded. I mean, you are if you're playing Dark Souls. Anyway, yeah, yeah. The man takes a swig from his coffee can, then studies the black liquid suspiciously.
But the thing is that sometimes shit happens to crush this illusion of a fair world.
Did you not just say that you think the world is fair at its core? Maybe he means like at its core, but it's not fair, really? It's just somehow, if at its core?
Anyway, I had this buddy called Carp. You know what happened to him? A weirdo serial killer murdered him. People say that maniac smacked Carp on the head with a brick, dragged him off to a basement or whatever, and tortured him to death. How could that happen in a fair world? Carp wasn't even stalking some dangerous place, and he never had any enemies. He was having a smoke just outside of the base.
Well, that isn't fair. But some things are. Some things are fair. That's a good reply to every time. Oh, I got robbed. Well, that isn't fair. But some things are fair. I'm sorry for your loss. This could have been avoided if you was more... well, it's just disingenuous to go with that. Let's go with that.
Maybe, yeah. Shit just happens sometimes, and we can't do anything.
Oh, maybe... Okay, some things... That isn't fair, but some things aren't fair. I think that second line is just is meant to say, you know, but that's just how it is. Some things aren't fair. Yeah, so I suppose it's definitely not are. It's the aren't that it should be written over there. Anyway, I think that's what it means, because his reply was not, "Are you crazy?" Can you answer some questions for me?
Sure, go ahead.
Are there any exciting things happening here?
There's a whole lot of shit going on. Everything's falling apart and nothing works like it's supposed to. Somebody gets killed every week, a whole stalker team got buried under a collapsing building, a dude I know caught a mutation.
You don't catch a mutation. It's not... That's kind of funny.
Life is a circus nowadays.
That blows. How much do you earn in the city?
Some would say a lot. I'll tell you this. No matter how much you get, you lose everything buying unneeded shit. Maybe that's not true about you personally, but most people, which just undermines completely what I just said, but most people around here waste their fortune buying stuff they don't need.
Yeah, consumerism is a real problem in the stalker society of post-nuclear age. Absolutely. Is it fun being a stalker?
Depends. It's pretty fun for me, but some call it a fate worse than death. Nevertheless, many folk wish to become stalkers. They think it's all a big adventure, picking up loot off the ground and living free. People with that kind of attitude are usually found dead in a week or two.
The ones that are adventurous. Yeah, I suppose. Heard any good rumors lately?
I heard the local gang's metro station was blessed with a visit from a three-titted hooker. Quite a handy mutation for her line of work. I'd have to pay her a visit, but I'm afraid...
Why didn't she just get a mutation where she's just really, really pretty? How does... that, like... She had gotten a mutation to just be breasts all over the place. There's just walking breasts going around. People will be like, "Oh, that's the best hooker there is." Where do I put my money? How does this work?
Anyway, I'd love to pay her a visit myself, but I'm afraid her regulars would beat me to a pulp for my stalker affiliations.
Her regulars would beat you? That is interesting. What do you mean her how? Wait. Oh, because of the gang. Right. He doesn't mean irregular. Well, I guess they are her regulars, but it's not. They wouldn't beat him because they are her regulars. It means because it's the gang's place. I thought for a moment it was gonna be a reference to that movie that has that alien with 3 breasts. I don't remember. I don't know which movie it is. I just saw pictures online of it. I've never watched that movie. It's a famous movie like Pulp Fiction or something. It's not Pulp Fiction. I'm pretty sure it isn't. I've also never watched Pulp Fiction. I just remembered about Pulp Fiction because it said something about pulp. But it's not a reference. I think it's just, yeah, caught a mutation. Well, that's good. That's that. I'll see you later, I suppose. At least he had money. Didn't like me much, but let's see if this guy likes me. He does not. Sticking out a corner of his dry, yellow tongue, this unshaven man is... Wait. He's got his tongue sticking out. That's what it means. He's unshaven and he's dressed in stalker, fiddles with a tiny metal cube, either trying to crush it in his huge hands or to splitting it in two. Doesn't look like he's very good at it. When he splitting a cube in two. When he sees you, he hides the cube in his pocket. What do you want? What's that cube for? None of your business. The man barks with an angry gaze, which is weird. Come on, I'm not asking you because I want to steal it. I'm just curious. The man gives you a once-over, deciding whether you look like a criminal or not, or like a dog, and finally laughs instead of barking his suspicions off. Fine, you look too upstanding to be a criminal. Catch. And the man throws you a shiny metal cube that's around 10 centimeters tall and wide and deep. You catch it. The cube feels heavy and cold, and the weight isn't spread evenly, though. One half of the thing is much heavier than the other. Check it out, but don't forget to return it later. I found this thingy in the hands of a skeleton, plastic skeleton most likely, in a weird ruin. Not that he had something to say about it, or anything to say about it. Let's examine the cube closely. After a minute of studying the cube, you finally understand that it is not made from a single solid piece of metal. Five of its 6 sides may be very slightly pushed into the central body of the cube. The 6th unmovable side has the number 21 engraved on it, with a terribly tiny font size. And that's why it was an attention check, I think, yeah. Curiosity takes you over. What is inside this cube? You turn it around so the numbered side looks up. That's interesting. I can press in the down side, the furthest side. Side closest to you, the left side or the right side. So basically, let's try the closest to me. You press on the side that's closest to you. 7 clicks can be heard from the cube. The side stays pressed in. You cannot press it again right now. You closely examine the cube. Nothing seems to be different. I can give the cube a shake to reset all the sides you pushed earlier. Let's do that. So, let's see the furthest side. You press on the side that's the most further away from you. 9 clicks can be heard from the cube. The side stays pressed in. You cannot press it again right now. Okay, let's go with the closest side again. Okay, they don't change the number of clicks, which should be a proper puzzle, but I don't think it's a proper puzzle. So the downside is 2, the left side is 5, and the right side is 5 as well. So that's pretty straightforward then. We need 21. That would be 9 plus... That's everything except the closest one to me. Down, furthest, left, and right. Inspect the cube. You calmly inspect the cube and you notice that the side of the cube with the number 21 engraved on top stands out a little. You dig your nails into the tiny space between the side and the rest of the cube and open the side like a door. Sure. Underneath the marked side, there's a tiny keyhole. Mother of God! Would you look at that? There was a keyhole inside this thing all along. What do you know? That's not a question. Well, I'm gonna... tell me you have the key, I'm gonna say. Your conversation partner slaps himself on the forehead. At least he doesn't bark. The key! A goddamn key, god damn it. Before me, those ruins were checked out by 2 brothers, A.T.O.M and Gunya, from the harbor. Only A.T.O.M had returned from that trip, and around his neck, there was a weird little key. I'm sure that it's the key from this box. Damn it, A.T.O.M will never part with it, seeing how it's the last thing he and his brother found. before death came for half of their duo as we were before he died. Yeah, I think the only way to get the key is to pickpocket it off A.T.O.M, which is weird because it's not in his pocket. But anyway, I'm no thief to pull that off. It seems like we'll never know what's inside this cube. Maybe I can kill A.T.O.M. I'll go and talk to A.T.O.M. Also, I can convince him, I suppose. Where is he? I wonder if he's here. Do we know A.T.O.M? We don't know that guy's name. We don't know anybody's name. Dang it. Dubravin. Hey, can I ask you some questions? Nope, can't ask you his name. Hey, can I ask you some questions? I wanted, yeah. Who are you? I'm a stalker. They call me Killdozer. It's very nice to meet you, I suppose. Doesn't sound like a Russian word, as opposed to every other name that doesn't sound like a Russian word. Yeah, that's right. Kill is proper English for murdering a guy. And dozer is the second part of the word bulldozer. It's like this huge tractor, but cooler. It's an ideal nickname for me, since I dig around old piles of shit like a bulldozer, and if someone tries to steal my stuff from me, I'll kick him in the balls until he's dead. Yeah, I thought he was might have been Irish. I don't know. Although I don't think, that would be only one L, I think. So what are you doing here? Oh, like everyone around here, I'm a stalker, but I don't take kindly to metal harvesting and other get-rich-quick schemes. And he puts a parentheses there that are super hard to read, because it reads like, I don't take kindly to metal harvesting and other get-rich-quick or get shot in the process schemes. That actually reads well. Yeah, good. I'm the last romantic stalker around this place, even though it's not actually romantic. Because we have... Did I go over what romantic means in Russian? Because I don't know what it means in Russian. I think it means nostalgic, and definitely not romantic. Because romantic means romance. And in like the word romance, it can mean something different in very specific contexts, but there is no context to this here. Like, for example, romance can mean the Romance languages, which are the ones that come from the Roman language of Latin. And it can... Well, basically that's that. Yeah, I don't know what Russian uses the word as, but I've seen it being used consistently in Russian-made games. The first time it was in Stalker, the game, the Shadow of Chernobyl. Actually, Shadow of Chernobyl is the first game? I think it is. And I noticed that they used the word there, and I was like, that's weird. And then I've seen it consistently used in not the English way. That's incorrectly used, because romantic doesn't mean that in English. Anyway, I'm interested in the secrets that are kept in all the hospitals, it says, hotels and government warehouses. The risk is high, but the loot can sometimes happen to be really interesting. What's really interesting to me is that you mix those all three up. What is that makes all the hospitals, hotels, and government warehouses to be the same thing that you'd be interested in them? Did you know this homeless person was just talking about me? Oh, not you again, Oxygen. I'm the last romantic, don't you know? Let's not talk about it. And the last soldier of the Soviet Empire. It's good to be acknowledged even in a hellhole such as this. Vile, terrible place full of ugly men, children. Like it. Yeah, it doesn't have anything. That's definitely not romantic, dude. That is so not any of this. Let's see, like everyone... So what are you doing? Yes, that's what I asked. How's life around here? It's okay, no matter what you hear. Sure, kids and old people would never survive for long, but grown men and women who are tired of listening to bosses and gang leaders all actually enjoy it. Death by radiation poisoning or mutant talents is a possibility, but it's the price we are willing to pay for freedom. I'm sure. Any good rumors lately? The funniest rumor I heard is this. A few months ago, some journalists from Trudograd allegedly came to the Dead City and started inviting stalkers, excuse the hiccup, for an interview. Those who agreed got the following question among many others. Is it true that stalker women are being kept by stalker men hidden underground, and also wear beards? Now, the guys thought it was a funny joke, even though they are not in a game called Stalker. The guy was completely serious, though. People actually think that about us. Yeah, that's a reference to two things at the same time, I think. Well, it's more readily a reference to the Tolkien lore and of the dwarves, because that's basically how the dwarven women, not all the dwarven women, but yeah, the dwarven women are in the Tolkien lore, and they do have beards. The fact that the stalkers are keeping all of their women, I think, is a reference to Stalker. I was talking about Stalker before, and Stalker doesn't have a single female character in all of the 3 trilogies, and I think there was some nonsense explanation given by the developers back then. I don't remember. I didn't really follow the development, but I think it was addressed. But yeah, it's just this super weird thing, and maybe they are referencing that. Anyway, I think I need to go in here, and maybe this is not a metro. Please let it not be a metro. Please let it not be a metro. I mean, it is the metro. It's got an M outside, but please let it not connect everything. Oh, no. I wonder where they're running to. A small crowd is gathered on the platform, murmuring uneasily, all eyes focused on the corpse lying on the tracks. You make your way to the edge of the platform and scratch the back of your head. It's obvious the poor guy spread-eagled on the ground died violently. A bearded, red-faced man standing next to you is addressing an elderly, mustached fellow.
Damn it, Kurtz! Another dead body! What the hell?
The mustached man shoots him a dark look and purses his lips. I see that bomb. I'm not blind. He's lost all shame now, killing people under our very noses. You pick up a few random words from the buzz crowd. It's that maniac again, right here on the base. He's lost all fear. You can't trust anyone. I'm telling you, we need to get out of the city. The elderly mustached man, whose name apparently is Curtis, or Kurds, anyway, spits on the ground and turns to face the crowd with a grim look on his face. All right, everyone, move along. Nothing to see here. Bomb, make a note. No personal items found on the body. Hey, somebody take this poor sod to the morgue. Let the detective take a look at him. Jerky, where did you find him? Get yourself a drink at the bar and I'll send someone to speak with you. As for the rest of you, what are you still doing here? Show's over. Go home. The crowd slowly disperses. Several beefy stalkers jump down on the track and start dragging the victim back the way you came. A couple minutes later, the only people left are you, Kurds, and Bomb. Kurds is rubbing his temples. He notices you're still standing in front of him and addresses you tiredly. Like I said, the show's over. How are you? Hey, are you new here? Yeah, fresh from the surface. What's going on? A real shitstorm. That's what's going on. A real filthy shitstorm. And we're neck deep right in the middle of it. Welcome to hell, by the way. I like that it's fresh from the surface. That makes it seem like Metro 2033. Or 2032, I think is the name of the book. Or the first book, anyway. And maybe that's where the Metro is going to come in. Rather than Fallout 3 style connections with everything. Well said, I guess. Care to elaborate?
Buddy, get off Comrade Kurds' gaze. He's a busy man.
The mustached man gestures Bomb to stop. You want to know the details? Here it is. We have a maniac on our hands, a serial killer. We call him the Woodpecker. Why do you think it's a maniac? I'm not going to say that. Interesting, where did that name come from, the Woodpecker? Oh, I guess I am going to say that. All the victims had the same hole in their skull, as if somebody had punched through the bone with a giant beak. That's why we call him that. Okay. That you are very obsessed with. You are very obsessed with woodpeckers, aren't you? He's very obsessed with woodpeckers, because that's, yeah. So why do you think it's a maniac? People get murdered left and right in the wasteland by not maniacs, I assume. No argument there, but here's the thing. It's true that people get shot by gangsters or ripped apart by mutants all the time. That's an honest way to go, and we're ready for it. But this is something completely different. The killer is walking freely among us, and we have no idea who it is. What makes you call this killer a maniac? My god, my character is so obsessed with defending the sanity of a murderer. His modus operandi. Modus operandus? No, modus operandi. Is it? Anyway. When we discovered the first body, we thought that some crook just tortured a poor bastard on whim. But then we found another one, and all the victims had the same marks on their bodies. Too peculiar for a common criminal, and too complicated for a mutant or animal. Actually, I don't know. If it's a face hugger or something, I would expect it to be like a just pierce their skulls to suck their brains out or something. The detective can tell you more. He's got a capital D in his name because that's his name. It's not the strategist, at least. Anyway, I put him in charge of the Woodpecker investigation. Do you know what the motive is? There's always a motive. There's not. That's the point of serial killers? That there is a motive? I think that is. Like, if there's a... I think, yeah. Like, that's what distinguishes a serial killer from just a rampage murderer, is that there's no motive. I think that is. I might need to look into the Wikipedia article, but of course, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm not a psychiatrist, but maybe the detective can answer that question. He's the one investigating the woodpecker case. Who's the detective? Another new guy, just like you. He volunteered to help with the investigation. He's a smart guy. Okay, he's the killer, by the way. He's a smart guy, but so far his efforts have been in vain. Meanwhile, the woodpecker keeps stacking up the corpses. Yeah, just, absolutely. He is absolutely the killer. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's the killer. Wait a second. Who are you then? Call me Kurtz. It would appear that I'm the man in charge here. Or not so much in charge, but, you know, responsible. I'm negotiating with the merchants about selling items the stalkers find in the Dead City. I'm coordinating the citizens in case there are some citywide decisions to make. I'm a self-appointed manager, so to speak.
My name is Baum. I am Mr. Kurtz's bodyguard. I protect him. Currently, this maniac is our biggest concern.
Well, certainly fascinating. Hey, maybe you could help us. I need results urgently, and the detective isn't cutting the mustard. People are starting to get restless. What will I get for catching this crazed killer? I'll repay you the best way I can, don't worry. The Dead City isn't short of money.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is.
It's a deal. You know, I'm quite the detective myself. I'm glad to hear that. We really need a fresh pair of eyes. All right. You should start by paying the detective a visit. He's probably in the morgue now, examining the latest victim. The morgue is located next to the underground entrance. You probably came from that direction. You can also speak to Jerky. He discovered the body. He's in the bar now. Maybe he caught a glimpse of the woodpecker. I doubt it, but it wouldn't hurt to ask. Alright, see you soon then. Well, see you next episode, I guess, because we're out of time for the day. Where's the rest of my team? I don't know. But, for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Atom RPG. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.